Turning Point 3, baby, let's go. I knew what to expect going into this, so I wasn't expecting too much happening in this whole episode. Not as much compared to like Turning Point 1 and Turning Point 2, at least. This is considered to be one of the least eventful moments in terms of turning points, but the overall arc is what matters most when it comes to plotting out how the rest of the series is gonna go. The entire arc that is the Labyrinth arc is what really emphasizes what makes this part a turning point. I know the reason why it's called a turning point, guys. I'm not that stupid. I know what the link is between all the turning points, but I'm not going to say why, because that is a spoiler. That is a spoiler for the next turning point. So shut up, light novel fans, please. We got anime onlys here. No spoilers here. No spoilers allowed. I swear, if I see one in the comment section, I swear I'm gonna. I'm glad anime onlys are actually enjoying this episode because, well, considering the high bar that we've established with the previous turning points, this one is not as much of a banner, but people seem to understand that the banners come after this turning point. They seem to understand the significance in the story of what happens here. I mean, this isn't as like action-packed or as like character developing as the previous turning points, and it's not super critical what happens here in the immediate future, but what happens later. That's what's interesting. It seems like everyone understands that, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm glad people are actually having decent expectations going into these later episodes, because trust me, these are going to be bangers. The next few episodes are going to be insane. The rest of the season 2 is just peak, okay? I don't say this often, bro. I know Mushoku Tensei fans have the tendency to call everything peak, but trust me when I say Volume 12's adaptation is peak. Anyway, let's go to talking about the actual episode itself. So Norn actually has something to do besides her schoolwork, finally. That's cool. I mean, now she's going to be writing an entire story, probably an entire novel, and it's probably going to be finished by the time Rudius comes back from his trip to the Labyrinth, so that's cool. She has something to do. Rudius later talks to Aisha about maybe having her voice her complaints and probably not getting as much attention as Norn is currently, which, I mean, it's something to address. Maybe there's a problem there, but honestly, he probably spends more time with Aisha than Norn. Let's be honest here. Aisha's at the mansion, okay? The house, the crib. She's chilling there the entire time, and, well, Norn's in the dorms. I doubt that Rudius talks to Norn nearly as much as he does with Aisha. Does Norn need that much attention? Probably not. It's probably better for her to stay at the dorms, and honestly, that was probably the best decision for her, and we are starting to see the effects of that. She's starting to hang out with other students, and like she's actually, I don't know, outgoing, and now she actually has a healthy relationship with her family, so that's good. But Aisha is a bit concerning. They actually started to show her making moves to Rudius this episode. I mean, hey, it was a quick gag in this episode. I'm fine with that as long as we don't get to the level that the light novel does with her like excessively pushing on, hey, Rudius, can I kiss you or something like that? Like it's cringe. It's cringe. I'm glad that the anime is not doing this, but yeah, let's stay away from that. Just Aisha's weird, dude. Her ability to negotiate at her age is freaking ridiculous. I mean, I know she was able to accumulate so much money on her trip to this freaking university, to Rudius's house, but like, bro, oh my gosh, bro, like, using Ariel's name now? I mean, like, I guess, but dude, you were just buying a curtain. You were just buying a curtain. Like, bro, what? Okay, dude. I guess if you, no matter what the discount is, you'll just use anything. Yeah, whatever. You know, she wanted to be able to afford it herself, I guess. And by the way, she's getting paid now. Okay, cool. I think she should be paid a little bit more. I mean, considering what she brought back with that giant chest full of gems and jewelry, She gets paid like a few shekels for her service as a maid. Bro, she's not just a maid, bro. She's not just a maid. She made that much money for you. At least give her a good cut. Come on. Nah, Rudius is basically a scammer at this point, honestly. Aisha ain't getting any money from him. Nothing. You get paid pennies, all right? So everyone's starting to be good friends with Rudius now, even Nanahoshi, which is pretty crazy. Like, she's able to, like, talk with him without her mask in just a regular-ass conversation. That's cool. That's cool. That's a lot better than how you used to be, having your mask on all the time, no matter how close you were to the person you're talking to. Just seems to be always wearing that mask, always be like shut off from everyone else. I am a mysterious figure, gotta hide my face all the time. Yeah, cool, edgelord. All right. I mean, she's a bit like stone-faced during the conversation, which is weird, but you know, it's like she appreciates Rudius's help, and that's cool. That's cool. She's actually starting to become an actual person now. I mean, hey man, like, I know she's going through a lot, but like, we could probably have her, you know, make some improvements and now and then, you know, like, she shouldn't be that closed off all the time, but whatever, it's fine. Nanahoshi's now giving him payments in the form of like these exclusive spells with these summoning circles. I mean, hey, that's a good form of payment. I mean, honestly, Rudius probably appreciates that more than like any money that she could probably offer him, but I know that Nanahoshi's rich and she could probably afford his services. And when Rudius actually goes to Zanaba's place, you actually see in the background Julie's like little figure creations, and she's making some improvement. I mean, hey, that's better than nothing. And that's definitely better than anything Zanaba could ever do. So, hey, props, bro. Got to give props to Julie. She's improving. She's improving. I still think it's a little bit cringe that Ginger's still like working with Zanaba after that weird trade situation. I mean, Rudius was willing to point this out too. Zanaba traded her services for a Roxy figure. I mean, I get he's a degenerate, and you know what? Ginger probably knows he's a degenerate. Never mind. I mean, this is probably not something that she's surprised by at all, but you know. Learn to forgive, I guess. Her loyalty holds no bounds. It's crazy to me, but whatever. Cliff somehow, in just a very short period of time, was able to invent something to help minimize Elenalise's curse. I mean, it's inefficient as hell. Like, oh my gosh, like 80 plus bronze, more like 20 plus coal efficiency. Got him. Yeah, that was a bad joke. I don't care. So this ain't super inefficient, right? Like, Cliff's power can only manage to keep it up for like about an hour, and Rudy can only we don't know how long Rudy can hold it. Actually, you know what? We'll probably learn later, and this is probably going to be our source of power scaling. How long we can power this freaking relic. So now we finally get the first big part of this turning point, the pregnancy reveal. And you know what? It was a really good scene. It was a really good scene. I mean, it was a 1-for-1 adaptation of the light novel. There were no real creative liberties here in terms of story writing, but man, dude, that music was so damn good, and the montage, oh my gosh, bro, like that was so good. Rewatching it especially was great. Rewatching that montage with the freaking music swelling, so good. Added so much emotion to the scene. I loved it. I loved that music choice. But again, I wish there were a bit more creative liberties with how everyone reacted. I wish we got a little bit more time on that, but I mean, hey, go. You gotta keep going in terms of this. I mean, again, like I don't think the first half of this episode was really all that necessary. We could have probably gotten it down to a montage, although like everything that's mentioned in the first half is pretty important. Even the freaking summoning circle that Nanahoshi gave him, like even that's important. So when it comes to that, when it comes to the metal panties, when it comes to like, even when it comes to just Ginger in general, like that stuff's important actually. So I guess we can't skip anything. And 1-to-1 adaptation, I mean, I can't complain too much about that, especially when the actual source material in this scene was pretty good. So no real complaints from me here. No real complaints. Just a nitpick or two. Could maybe had a little bit more time in this, but we're limited on time. On to the next scene with the freaking letter. Oh my gosh, this freaking letter, dude. Let me give you a rundown of this letter. It was probably sent months ago in the past. It was sent by Geese. It had 1 or 2 sentences in it. 2 sentences in the entire letter. Super vague as hell. Need help. Having trouble rescuing Zenith. This is not the way you send a letter when it's going to be a few months of delay. Like a lot of months of delay. Usually you want like a rundown of what you plan on doing before Rudius gets there, or maybe like you want to have like a set path that's like, hey, if we accomplish this mission before you get here, we're going to be going through this route on the way back, so if you take the same route, we'll run into each other. All right, okay, cool. Like there's nothing like that. Instead, it's just need help, please, bye. That's it. Geese is being vague as hell, and probably for a reason. I mean, like he's a very crafty guy. He's probably doing this for a reason. And considering it's not sent by Paul, he probably had a very limited time to write this. If Paul's probably looking over his shoulder every now and then. But I don't know. Paul probably didn't want to send this because considering what he thinks Rudy's situation is, with him probably being the only person taking care of Aisha and Norn, and he's at a year's trip away from that freaking continent. Like, there is no way Paul would ask for his help. This is something that Paul would think that he needs to finish by himself, rescuing his wife. Like that feels like his responsibility. He should probably be doing that by himself. That's what he probably thinks, at least. So he probably would never ask for Rudius's help. So it makes sense why Geese sent it. But like, come on, bro, be more detailed. You're being vague for a reason. And immediately after that, an immediate cut after that letter, we get to the Hitogami scene. And bro, as if Geese wasn't helpful enough, Hitogami didn't help at all. Bro, you're basically like all-knowing. You probably know the situation over there. You couldn't at least give Rudius like a little bit of information to help convince him. It's probably bad. The situation over there is probably awful. You couldn't give him like at least a little bit of detail. Again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, despite the freaking OP and the recent trailers spoiling like the entire situation. Hitogami, you couldn't give him at least a little bit of detail. Come on, like how Zenith is trapped in like the labyrinth city. You couldn't tell them if you wanted to say like they don't really need your help, or hey, it's probably a regret you're probably gonna regret going there, considering you'll miss this. Like, I know that you can basically assume what he'd miss in terms of like his life at that university if he decided to go to the Rapan or the Bagra continent or whatever. It could be assumed, but Hitogami could give him a lot more information than just what could be assumed. If you want to like convince him to stay, like, come on, dude, you need to give him more information than just, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it. Also, start a relationship with one of those 2 beast girls that you're friend zoning right now. Fun. I'm like, dude, like what? As if the red flags weren't abundant enough, bro. What the hell was that advice, bro? Like, dude, you couldn't at least like give him a little bit of time before like actually giving him that shitty ass advice. Whatever, bro. You know, Hitogami's gone rogue. He's going absolutely berserk with his strategy in terms of breaking it down to Rudius, but whatever. He's a loose cannon. And bro, as if the red flags weren't abundant enough. Eventually, Rudius decides to not follow his advice after hearing out what Ellen Elise said. By the way, bro, oh my gosh, you know what? None of this other shit matters, dude. Ellen Elise is about to break up with Cliff. No! Why do you do this to me? Wow. That's the real turning point in this entire show, bro. Fuck, dude. Fuck. And after hearing her story of saying like, okay, I'm gonna help Paul, you stay here, sort of deal, and hearing out Zanaba's advice saying that, oh man, like you're not really needed here. It sounds like you are needed where your father is, so go help your family, sort of deal. That wasn't enough to fully convince him, but what really convinced him was Norn going out with backpack ready and all, attempting to travel all the way to that random ass continent, a year's travel away, and immediately on her first step, rolled her ankle. This sister's useless, bro. Aisha's so much more helpful. I swear. Rudy was immediately convinced by Norn crying, bro. He has no spine, bro. No spine. You made a decision, bro. Couldn't you at least hold to that, like, for more than a day? Come on. It took you less than a day to be convinced. Hey, let's go. That's the end of the turning point. I mean, very good episode overall. Like, especially rewatching it. I started to appreciate it a lot more after rewatching it, especially the delivery of that pregnancy announcement. So yeah, happy Mother's Day. That definitely wasn't a coincidence. Anyway, yeah, with all that said, I don't think this episode's better than the last two. The last two episodes were a bit better than this one, a bit faster paced, a bit more emotional in my opinion than this one. Maybe that's just me because of me being a novel reader. Maybe for an anime only, it would have hit more. But I'm more concerned with like character progression and character like study sort of deal when it comes to that, and that stuff really hits me in the feels. Not reveals or anything like that. That stuff doesn't hit me to my core as much as something like Norn's chapter or episode, or like Rudyard leaving and the heartfelt goodbye from Norn. Like I felt like that had more emotion in it than everything in this episode besides the pregnancy announcement. That one beats like anything this course so far. A solid 9 out of 10 episode. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Hits that range, you know. Hits that range. Anyway, comment below what you guys think. I read basically every single comment, so comment below what you guys think. I'm gonna do the stupid YouTube thing. Like and subscribe. Now those freaking buttons at the bottom are being highlighted and all that. Whatever. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.